I saw this video of Ben Shapiro.
Him reacting to Fresh and Fit or whatever, I think.
Oh, people like Ben, they out of touch because they had an arranged marriage. And I was like, so confused. I didn't know this was true, so I went to look up how Ben met his wife. Mm-hmm. And you know how he met her? By the way, I wanted to say this. I was very proud of how you handled the Milo debate. I thought you did a great job. Did you wish you were more rough with him? More combative? But people mentioning people's kids is so bizarre to me.
Yeah, I think it's...
Hello. Since Steven always ignores your existence, I've joined. Just to spite the DGG chat, YouTube chat, this is your chance. You guys can ask questions, and I'll respond. This is an Ask Me Anything for YouTube chatters exclusively. How am I doing today? I'm doing fantastic. Frogs or dinosaurs? I believe frogs are dinosaurs. Trick question. You couldn't get me, bruh. What's my favorite movie's Whiplash. I don't like music, but I do like that drummer. And I think it's Gene something Simmons. That actor is very good. I liked it when he called him I can't say the word on YouTube without him getting banned. But that was awesome. Let's see here. Would I introduce Destiny to my parents? I mean, Destiny's over for dinner. You know what I mean? And he wants to, meet my mom. She won't talk to him for very long. So I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking for very long because we'd be real quick and we don't need many words for that.
Yo, Destiny, you're moving mad.
What?
You're moving crazy right now.
What's up? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I heard you're going to Texas or something?
Yeah, tonight, hopefully.
What you gonna be doing out there? You're gonna have an actual good debate?
Maybe.
Or are you going there? Oh, is this secret content?
No, it's like a panel with a bunch of people. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, it's good that you're doing a lot of IRL stuff, taking advantage of it. You know who I just seen a video of recently? I saw this video of Ben Shapiro. Hold up, let me just turn on this game music. I saw this video of Ben Shapiro. I guess he was like reacting to some people's marriage advice.
Oh yeah, him reacting to Fresh and Fit or whatever, I think. Or do you not say their names? Yeah.
And I was watching it, and they were talking about him as well. And then at one point, I think one of them mentioned the fact that, people like Ben, they out of touch because they had an arranged marriage. And I was like, so confused. I didn't know this was true, so I went to look up how Ben met his wife. Mm-hmm. And you know how he met her? I guess he just saw her somewhere one time and then took an interest. And so he started hanging out with her every day for like 3 months, and then they just got engaged. Now, to everyone else, I think 3 months in sounds very, very fast. But I think from a lot of people from extremely like religious and, conservative backgrounds, that timeline is not the craziest one in the world. But I don't know. You know what was kind of refreshing? And I think we've been talking a lot about people grifting and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But irrespective of how I feel about Ben personally, I thought it was kind of refreshing just seeing somebody online who kind of lives out the values that they profess in regards to faith. And I don't know. I think one of the main things that turned me off of religion when I was a younger kid was mostly seeing how hypocritical a lot of people who loudly profess their faith. Mm-hmm. And so when I see people who traditionally live those values, there's something about that I really admire, even if I don't agree with them politically on a lot of topics. You didn't get that feeling watching at least Ben or you know who else gave me that feeling? Let me see.
Oh, I was gonna say for Ben, yeah. I talked about this a while ago, but he did a show with Lex Friedman. About talking about his relationship. One of the criticisms I have for people that talk about trad relationships all the time is they are so incredibly disgusting with how they talk about the women. And if you come from a traditional background or a conservative background and you really do traditional relationships, you never talk about the women like that. They're not these inferior dipshit beings that just sit in the household because all they can do is make babies and clean, right? The woman has a lot of responsibility in the household, and there's a partnership with the father, and the father might have the final say on things, but he's not walking around like a tyrant in the household. He's doing everything with the consultation of his wife. Of course, it's a partnership. And Ben actually goes through a lot in his Lex Friedman conversation talking about the relationship with his wife, and he sounds like he has a phenomenal relationship with his wife. He talks about how she helps him like reflect on ideas and shit, and they share a lot of like household stuff and everything, and like he's like one of the only, well, I say one of the only conservatives. I don't know how many conservatives talk about their relationships, but his relationship sounds like a very good model for like anybody trying to do like a traditional relationship where the woman is like respected and it doesn't just sound like somebody that fucking hates women, you know.
In the darkness.
I love the way he talks about his wife, the references to like because he did this before on his show where he speaks like what you're looking for in a healthy marriage or whatever, or he did this in that thing or like my wife is concerned about like Twitter usage, she says I shouldn't do it anymore. I like it seems like his wife has an active role in his relationship, as opposed to like, oh, she's just some dumb stays at home and takes care of the kids while I do my shit.
If you look at when I
think it would be hard to be in those kinds of relationships and in that kind of faith and talk like that, because at least talk crazy, because not just from like a religious standpoint, because most of the religious texts that I've seen in regards to spousal relationships talk about being extremely respectful of your wife, but also if you're very serious about religion and you're marrying someone from the same religion, families are very much involved. How would it look publicly if the man who you're marrying your daughter off to is just out here talking about women in the most disgusting manner?
Yeah.
And you're like a real man of faith. Like, there's no way you would ever want your daughter to be in that kind of environment where he's just talking about like all these bitches and whores and stuff like that. Like, if you're a real man of God, you wouldn't want that, you know?
Yeah, I started thinking about this a lot more. I think on and at least I can force them to look stupid, because I asked Sneeko this question once. One question I really want to push a lot of these red pillars on is like, okay, let's pretend, now first, this is a big ask, okay, but pretend you have a woman that's a friend, okay? If a woman came up to you and she was like, hey, I met this guy, he seems like pretty cool, but he says that if we date, he's gonna around with a lot of girls, like, should I do, like, what would you ever tell a woman in that circumstance? Like, nobody in the history of the planet is like, yeah, you go, girl, like, it's okay if he's like sharing you with other women, or if you're sharing him with other women, like, it'll be a great relationship, he's a high value man. Like, nobody would ever say that, ever, in the history of all of mankind. And the fact that these guys all act like it's just like totally normal and like every woman would go for it, it's like, well, think about if you're, or like I asked Sneeko this, like, would you be okay with your daughter dating Andrew Tate? And he was like, yeah, I think I would. It's like, bullshit, dude, no shot. But yeah.
I mean, he's saying that as somebody who doesn't have kids or doesn't have,
yeah, I know, but like, even so, like, would you really want your daughter or a family member to date like a fucking playboy? Is that real? Like, no shot. Your sister, anybody? Like,
I'll say I'm a little bit forgiving of that stance, because I think until my niece was around all the time, I didn't realize how much you can care for a little person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really shared that somebody, I don't give a kids, whatever. And then she started coming around. I'm like, damn, I've never been more protective of another individual in my life. So I think I can understand why they can say that, because they're purely speaking from like
the male perspective and what they want,
without knowing like the emotional and like just intrinsic attachment you build to somebody like that once you see them growing up. That's the only way you could do it. I have not known anybody who's actually had kids who would ever repeat what they've said.
Yeah.
No one. You
yeah. like oh, my daughter came home today, and like today she's hanging out with us because her husband is another woman, but we're so proud of her for landing a high value guy. Like, who the f- would ever, like, that's such a wild statement. But these people all act like it's super normal. Rollo Tomasi, Just Pearly things, the freshman guys are like, oh yeah, like, women love to share high value men. It's like, who do you talk to? Has there even been a woman on your show that says that? Like, even when I go on and I ask the women there, like, would you share a guy? I'm pretty sure like almost every single woman says no. I'm like, who the fuck? And those are the fresh and fit girls. This is like your most extreme population. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I will say, in their defense, I think a lot of this stuff is a little bit more culturally common than people realize. It's never spoken about openly, nor is it proudly proclaimed. So the way that they're doing it, because you have to imagine, like, even for my mom, like, anything that these guys say she would find incredibly disgusting. But when she describes to me what it was like growing up in her time in Ethiopia and stuff like that, culturally speaking, like, a lot of this stuff was just very commonplace. Like, people going to whorehouses, doing things behind the person's back, and it was very normalized. Doesn't mean it was accepted, but it was just a thing where people understood this thing happens pretty commonly. What you couldn't do, and what is extremely bad, is out there talking about it loudly and then embarrassing the family, or embarrassing your partner's family or the community at large, because then it just looks terrible, because everyone has to keep up appearances. Even from a religious standpoint, like, plenty of people are sitting behind closed doors and doing really disgusting stuff, and plenty of people in the community know this. What's really a problem is when you speak about it openly, there's a certain amount of embarrassment and shame you're supposed to have when it comes to that behavior.
Yeah, that's I would believe that more, sure.
I mean, I can tell you this. Oh, here's an example. In a lot of religious communities, the pastor's out here fucking everybody left, right, and center, even though they're not supposed to, even though they're married. And a lot of people know this. A lot of people know what these people are doing behind closed doors. They just don't talk about it publicly. But the moment it comes to light and it's out in the public, then they have to save face and get away from the person or whatever it is. But these things are very commonplace. It's not like abnormal behavior.
Yeah,
I'm not using my words correctly. I'm not saying that it's not abnormal. What I'm trying to say is it happens fairly commonly, and it's just I'm having a hard time finding the words. But
no, I understand what you're saying. It reminds me of, I don't know how true this is. I've heard this from two different people, so who the fuck knows. But like I've heard that like if you go to like Gulf states, you go to like Saudi Arabia, UAE, that like a lot of the people there have very strict rules around things like gambling, things like drinking, fornicating, stuff like that. But a lot of these guys travel and do like crazy parties where they're obviously, it's like the most haram shit in the world, and they're breaking all sorts of shit. And it's just like everybody kind of knows that if you're from Saudi Arabia, I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that a lot from people in like the Gulf state areas. But yeah.
Absolutely. I have friends who were posted to Kuwait, and they were saying the exact same thing. Like the filthiness that happens commonly, society, everyone knows about it. It's only a shameful thing once it's public because everyone's embarrassed now. So like the wife might know, the husband can know, and nobody has. Well, I'm not saying they don't have an issue with it, but they all accept it. But it becomes public. All of a sudden, they go on this big apology tour, and they're saying how bad it is and how they're going to change or whatever. But these motherfuckers knew the whole time it was bad. They knew the whole time. They just didn't care because it was happening like in the hush hush.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's like the mistake of these guys is that when they're doing this, like, look at these countries, they do it. It's like, yes, they do it to some degree, but they don't do it with the same brazen attitude and level of disrespect that you have for them.
Not only that, I'm willing to bet that this is probably going to be more common with like women that are already kind of like baby stuck. Like, I doubt even in those countries is there going to be like a woman dating a guy and she's as like, even as a dark secret thing, he's like fucking around a ton and she's okay with that. I bet this is probably more common where it's like the woman's married, she's got like the kids and everything to take care of, and like, yeah, the guy might step in and fuck around and it's like, fuck him if he does it, you know, but like it is what it is. But it's probably more common when they're kind of stuck in that situation. That'd be my guess.
I think the kids are definitely affected. I think just marriage in general, people get stuck.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's true too. Yeah, because I don't even want to divorce at all.
Yeah. Like once that happens and the joining happens, like, you know, that's why physical abuse will often be commonplace in these kinds of relationships and never go reported or anything like that. It's just you're kind of in it. It's very hard to get away from it, and there's a lot that you're supposed to bear as a woman in terms of stuff you don't necessarily find acceptable, but you have to because like you just can't get divorced. It's like it's one of the biggest sins from a religious standpoint. It's embarrassing for the family. It's embarrassing for the individual and the shame that they feel. Like that, the decision to get married is. You know, it's funny because over here they constantly talk about how like there's no advantages for men, but then you go to these other countries and like there's so many fucking disadvantages for women when it comes to marriage. It's actually I feel like I feel like the disadvantages that women experience in those countries is far larger than the advantages or the disadvantages that men experience over here when it comes to the potential of divorce.
Sure.
Because think about it, you're locked into something where the dude can switch up his behavior at any point and you're expected to stay.
Yeah, pretty dumb. How's life been? What have you been up to?
I came back from London.
Oh, London. Wait. Let me grab a drink real quick and then tell me about it, okay? And turn my air down one second.
Actually, I should grab some water too. Stay hydrated.
Oh shit, London. I bet Abba was looking for another job at Pearly Things now that she fired half her staff.
I actually did an appearance. That episode should come out soon.
And you'd fit right in too, right? Because you said your background was Ethiopian. Isn't that who she likes, or what does she hire out from? Wait, did he step away for a minute? He went to get water. Oh, okay. I thought he was letting that one hang hard. Jesus.
By the way, I wanted to say this. I was very proud of how you handled the Milo debate. I thought you did a great job.
Thanks. I tried to walk the line hard there. Okay, not be too unhinged, but like hit him back a little bit. Yeah,
that was great. You did great. Like I think optically, everyone pretty much unanimously agreed that you came out on top in that, both rhetorically and I just think the way it looked overall.
Yeah, I hope so. As much of a kind of a waste of everything as it was, I hope that like people if there were people that were still holding on to him, like, oh, like Milo's a decent guy or whatever, like I hope that his fans saw that like he's unhinged. Yeah.
I think that's the takeaway most. Even I was kind of surprised by his showing, because I don't know. I think my last time seeing him in a debate was years ago, and he still seemed like he had it. So I was like, okay. And then I saw this, and I couldn't believe the first 5 minutes. I said, what am I listening to? And I actually didn't realize you guys were in Tennessee, so I had to Google what shooting he was talking about. And I was like, what does this have to do with Destiny? I was so confused.
Yeah, there was. As soon as he started with that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be dumb. And then he got personal too, and I'm like, oh, okay, well.
Is there something you wish you would have done differently, or do you feel like everything?
I feel like it went about. I feel like it went perfectly. Like in terms of everything I could have said or done, like yeah. Like in retrospect, well, not in retrospect. Like if I would have known he would have acted like that, I wouldn't have done that conversation at all. I just wouldn't have had the debate. Because it just makes me look bad to even share. And I don't want to like give him free clout because he's like so desperate too, right? Because he has nothing going on in his life now, so I'm kind of like his lifeline to the universe a little bit. But
well, I mean, I don't think he took charge of that lifeline and did himself any favors. I don't imagine this garnered him any support. If anything, I think he lost more than anything.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
There's no angle that I don't think I've seen anybody say he did a good job or really did well. He just, I don't know. I couldn't imagine. Sometimes people come into a conversation and they garner a bit of an audience, either from like a religious standpoint or rhetorical standpoint. Like everybody I think that I saw commenting on this, who sent me like clips anyways, pretty much said unanimously like it was just terrible. And I guess people said he was on drugs or whatnot. Did you wish you were more rough with him, more combative?
I felt like I got my hits in where they were good, and I was chilling it. Yeah, I think that was okay. And then it just kind of like let him self-destruct. So
I think the times where you're calm actually ends up working out the best for you. Because even though you might want to go crazy and just unleash on people, oftentimes then they get to paint you as a crazy liberal who just gets emotional or whatever, where in this case it was completely the opposite. No?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you care about that kind of stuff optically, or do you just want to do what you want to do?
Yeah, I have to care about it. Yeah, it's just things that I have to consider, especially as like the trends for what strength looks like has changed too. So like in 2016, 2017, like strength was like screaming at people and like being crazy and like calling them out and shutting them down. Like that's what looked cool. And now it's more kind of like the just sit there and be like stoic and don't respond emotionally at all is like the cool thing. So yeah, it's just stuff I have to consider optically when I'm engaging with people.
Sounds like you don't like it though. It sounds maybe I'm misreading.
No, it's definitely more fun to just scream at people. It's more fun to just go wild and hard. Yeah. But I mean,
I don't know when this became normal. I don't know if it's because it's you, but people mentioning people's kids is so bizarre to me.
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know when that became normal. I'm really like people are like, oh, he did that, and I'm like, everyone just I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just people just look for easy shots. It's kind of flattering to me because it feels like I guess you don't have anything else to say. Like it feels like you're kind of ceding a lot of the argument if you're just talking about my family, and my wife. But yeah, it's kind of wild.
But I mean, also just bringing up your kid, like your wife, because I know you're very open about your relationship, but people bringing up your kid is so weird. But hey, I know you can handle it better than most people. I just feel as though I'm not used to it, and I think it's been more of a recent development over the internet because I don't feel as though this was common behavior. Am I wrong about that?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I've always thought it's kind of weird. I think it actually is kind of common. I used to chide my fan base for doing this. You see other people that make like weird comments about like Ben Shapiro's sister?
Oh, but isn't she a public personality or something?
A little bit, but it's a lot.
She has
about,
a YouTube channel, doesn't she?
Yeah, but it's a lot of comments about her boobs. It's really weird. But
what's wrong with her boobs?
They're fucking massive. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just people are. Yeah, jeez, chill. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess she is kind of public. I don't know. I'm not too sure about anybody else. My life is also really public. I don't think
that's because it's her sister. I think if you're any woman with massive boobs online, people are going to talk about them. Oh, wait, what? Are they just talking to Ben? And Ben's like, listen, we got a big problem. And someone's like, yeah, your sister's tits.
Oh, I don't know about those types, because he only engages with the professionals, so I don't know if they do that, but yeah.
No, he also talks to students. But, like, I don't know. To me, that's not the same thing as... Like, someone talking to you and then saying something about your child is so bizarre to me. But if your kid had a YouTube channel, somebody's like, hey, Nathan, your haircut's kind of sucks. I don't know.
Damn.
I don't think that's the worst thing.
Sure. No, yeah, I agree. It's pretty bizarre.
Actually, I Google this.
Wait, what are you Googling her?
Oh wow, they really do look alike.
I mean, they're they're related, yeah.
Okay, all right, moving on.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I don't know. I don't think that's ever gonna get old in my life. Like I think I'm always gonna go wow, and then I'm gonna move on.
Wait, what's never gonna get old, and then you're gonna move on?
Someone be like, "This person has big tits." I feel this need to Google it. And then
Oh.
after that, I move
Yeah,
on.
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, they're gifts from God. That's kind of weird.
I'm grateful that the internet didn't blow this one out of proportion. Sometimes they'd be like, "Oh my god, this girl's so gorgeous," and I'm like, "Bro, this shit's..." But those are
Okay, yeah, we got it.
all right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Would you? I think that's pretty much all. I don't know that much. All right. Well, D-Man, you enjoy yourself. I know you're leaving today, so have a safe trip, brother.
Thanks a lot. Have fun. Be careful. Stay safe. Okay.
Peace.